What's up, guys? It's Kyle, also known as the Panda Man to some, with another episode, Memorial Day 2025 episode of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. And you think about what that is. Like a lot of people are like, what is your LLC, Ulysses? Like, no, it's an acronym, ULYIS. The whole scope when I started this, as Ainsley sucking on the knuckle of my thumb, was really, okay, what am I trying to do for myself, right? And then what is the message? Well, it was unlocking your inner strength, this inner strength that we all have that is really untapped for most people, or only a fraction of it is tapped. How do you access more of it? One of the best ways that I know from when I was always as an athlete and then competing in bodybuilding was to compete, or to, in this example, say, all right, I'm going to get in the best shape I can possibly be in. All right, a little quick intermission there. Me and Angie are back on the walk. She had to get the boob from Devin. And we got the kids' lunch ready. Nah, not kids. I'm trying to use the word children because kids, I believe, from what Coach Matt tells me, that's like a child goat. So it's almost like belittling our children. Now, let's think, right? I was saying, best way to unlock the inner strength many times is to commit to getting into great shape. I figured this out when I was bodybuilding. And as hard as those preps were, 4 months straight, whatever it was all the year round, but you'd really be in the cut down phase for 4 months, was everything elevated. I felt like I could do everything or anything. And it was obviously during one of the preps, 2007, where I decided, because I was so on fire, right, getting into the self-development. How you doing, Simon?
Pretty good, you?
Good.
Getting bigger.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I started dual strength, right? The inspiration came from that. So unlocking inner strength. So if you commit, now it doesn't mean you need to step on a bodybuilding stage, right? But it's the fact of, hey, I'm going to take 6 weeks to go all in on this. And then you do it. And that's what I did with the fat shredder, right? And my mind is in a completely different place now. Confidence is soaring. I did what I said I was going to do in 6 weeks. I made phenomenal changes to my body. Body feels great. It's not that I'm slacking the rest of the year, though, but it's, hey, let's just really refine what you're doing. Make it more conscious. Okay? So with that, what I did with the 6-week shredder protocol, I'm going to be updating my fat shredder manual. So if you purchase that, I will also send you the updated version. Plan to write that out this week, have it done by early next week. Just reflecting upon the 6 weeks, what I noticed, measurements, what I did within there, and what I didn't do. So I'm going to go over that today, exactly what I did. So what did I do in the shredder manual? I guess we'll start with the fasting, because I had that written out for the first few weeks, and I obviously wrote it before I started the 6-week protocol. I said, when we get to week 3, that's why I assess and then make a determination what I'm going to do. So throughout the process, week 1, I did let me think here. I believe I did a 72 dry. No, week 1 I did a 72, 72-hour fast. No, that's wrong. Hold on, I'm thinking here. week 1, I did a 48 dry. No. Getting distracted. Week 1, I did a 72. Regular fast, water fast. Now, 72s, by the way, super powerful. Water fasting. If you want to get lean. Super, super powerful. Week 2, I did a 48 dry. Then I said I was going to assess what I like better, what served me better. Well, of course, it had to be a combination. Because, like I said, the 72s, I'll go as far as to say, we'll talk a little bit about dry fasting today. If you just want to get lean, they say a dry fast is 3 times more potent than water fasting. On many levels, I agree with that. But if I had to pick between doing a 48 dry as far as getting lean or a water 72 over 6 weeks, I could only pick one. I would lean towards the 72 water. So what does that mean? Well, week 3, I went into my dry fast sandwich protocol, something I coined, and then I was writing about it again in a newsletter outlining all these protocols that people can do consistently. That's the whole key, right? I could do some crazy stuff, but if it's like, well, if the masses can't do that, like my Indigo Panda, people do it, but it's not something that put people on, right? It's more of a challenge. Okay, so Indigo Panda, that's extreme. Now, to reiterate with the dry fast break, dry fast within the scope is for 72. I did that weeks 3, 5, and 6. Week 4, I did a 72-hour dry fast, right? And that was kind of the pinnacle. You're not going to do that every week, right? But dry fasting really puts you into this super fat loss mode, especially the deeper you get into it. So that's where I created the OWAD protocol. So how can people do this consistently? Dry fasting, I mean, will get some benefits. Maybe not the benefit that you would get from doing a longer dry fast, but if you string them together over time, I think you can reap the same rewards. Just like with the water fasting, people will ask me, can I do a 10-day fast? Can I do a 20-day fast? I'm like, you can, but what's the goal? You're not going to do that like every month. Do something that you can string together for years. And that's where you're going to see the benefit, right? Now, keep in mind with the fat shredder, what I was doing was a 6-week condensed, get as lean as I can in 6 weeks. And it worked. Went from, I think, 9.6 or 9.8 down to 5. And last week it was 5.1. That's almost half my body fat in 6 weeks, right? Still feasting like a king. But those longer fasts, and then the dry fasting, and then throughout the day, I would always get some extra activity. It was a 45-minute walk every day, broken up some days it was straight. There was 100 reps of curls, laterals, push-ups, and core every day, just throughout the day. 5 minutes isometric posing. All this stuff kind of added up when it kept my mind dialed in to what I was doing, what the mission was. Right? It was maximal fat loss in 6 weeks. Now I transition out. For example, today is a dry fast. I'll take that till tomorrow night. Then I'll decide next week, okay, am I going to continue with the 48 dries? Or am I going to do just my OWAD with my 48s? But the point is with fat loss, guys, you got to look at it as all-out war. I knew that I had to activate the 72s. I took my fat intake, which will be in the updated shredder manual, the exact nutrition. Took my fat intake super low. And that was that. I went from 235 down to about, I think I checked in this past Saturday, 221. Essentially maintained muscle. That showed down 2 pounds And that was just glycogen. My strength is still there. Glycogen's going to have to come down, right, if we're to tap into body fat. And as I told you, body fat came way down to, mid-single digits. And a big part of that, right, is the visceral fat. I believe I started at 4, which was high for me. That's a good number. Got that down to a 1. The visceral fat's the most dangerous type of fat that there is. But this protocol I put together, I highly suggest you get my Fat Shredder manual. Everything's laid out in there. I'm putting an updated version together this week. So if you got the older version, you'll get the updated one as well. When I go back, reflect on my notes, put the nutritional tweaks I made in there, and kind of dispel all my secrets within that manual. Highly effective. Now, if you use this, if you have 100 pounds of fat to lose, obviously you're not going to do that in 6 weeks, right? But this is maximal fat loss in a 6-week period. For some of you, that might be 20 pounds of fat, which is a lot of fat, guys. That is a ton of fat. Don't confuse it with weight loss, right? If you look at weight loss in 6 weeks, I've had people, 40 to 45 pound range. And then we always got to have a plan. What do we transition to after that? What do we transition to as far as everyday life? What can we do that's functional and sustainable? So that was my experience with the Fat Shredder this year. I'm glad I did it. Got my mind going, working on some other cool ideas to branch off of that. The workouts, obviously a big component. There's a specific way to train, when you're trying to change your body like that, the oxygen debt, get out of breath, get the heart rate up. All right, guys, I got to go finish the newsletter that outlines my dry fasting theories. If you want to subscribe to that, just shoot me a text, 908-229-6666. Thanks for the support, guys. I'll catch you later. Oh, one last thing. Ripped Ads, first time ever. Bringing it online. We start June 23rd. 6-week challenge. A lot of cool stuff. Curriculum, training, fasting, family stuff. It's going to be great for you fathers out there. And if you're a lady listening to this, consider getting it as a gift for Father's Day. It is a game changer.